I'm not here.
Kind of striking.
Yeah. They make it, and then it should read it more generally. Because it did it. Sometimes if you unseat that TSR signal, the rings on it determine the signature. So sometimes if you unseat it just right, it might make the connection, it will interpret it as a mono. Right, so it's going to be better for you to just get the share a little bit more. Those are the things that we always say. Wait a minute, I was sitting back and I was saying.
It is a safe space. So what happens in the stage folks. I think like little problem in conversation, and this happened at 9 o'clock. I mean, in the United States, 9 1 million people coming together. You'll be caffeinated talking about it. But it's a cost of the foundation. I think it's a city sponsor. They are city resource. It's not an institution higher education, but it's a non-profit organization. Mr. Crawford is a pharmacist. He started they sponsored Appreciate you being here.
Yeah. I know, I think David was here last week. Was that his first visit?
Yep.
How did he know about that?
I'm one of the original and I've done often also it's called fast track. I've been doing that for 23rd year facilitating. Right at 1,500 graduate students in that class. So it's good. I did that through Living Staff. And I continue to do that. That class started in a couple of weeks. You know, they have like 15 minutes working. Start. We have one program, 15 minutes. He'll do 10 minutes and then question and answer. We have a room until 11.
Everybody, thank you for your patience. We are going to get going here. We're going to start with some housekeeping. So if you can, please scan the QR code. This gives us two things. One, it takes attendance, so we know, we let the foundation know that we are alive and thriving here in Columbia. And two, if you're new with us, please QR code so you can become a friend of ours. We love new friends. Let me give everybody a second to do that, including myself.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Good to go. Okay, let's go through who we are and what we do. So, welcome. This is 1 Million Cups, and the mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new, seasoned, and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. We have some key pillars. One is we give presentations, not pitches. 2, we make authentic connections. We're not just here to network. And we are radically and intentionally inclusive. And we are, most importantly, run for the community, by the community. And what I mean by that are these are the local businesses that bring this to you weekly. We are grateful to the USC Columbia Technology Incubator for housing us. We appreciate the Waffle House for donating the free coffee. And the sponsors below are all of the local business owners that are here. We get you the speakers, we do the marketing, we bring everything to you weekly for the low cost of $0. It is our time and effort, and we believe in it, so we continue to do it.
We reduced our cost by 1,000%.
Anybody got one of the ugly t-shirts on that we usually get an ugly t-shirt. That's about all we get, so yes sir.
They changed the name to the
Yes.
The incubator's not in there.
Oh.
It's on the door.
Oh, logo.
Yes.
Alright. Well, there you go. So, alright, okay. Moving on. So, there we go. Our local program. We've been here over 10 years, and we are held weekly every Wednesday morning. We have had over 500 entrepreneur presentations, and we also offer educational topics like finance, future frame, networking, and we bring you local resources. Weekly, we usually have one presenter with about a 5 to 6 minute presentation, and we follow that with Q&A from the community. We also have made-it sessions with folks who come in and who have had success in their businesses, and they bring and share their stories with us. We are always free, always open to the public, and we do caffeinate you. I'm calling for presenters. If you are interested in being one of our presenters, this is the link that you can apply to, or you can come and see me, the gentleman in the back, or any of our organizers. We are booking for the month of February, so I need to fill February. If you're interested, please remember, this is not a sales pitch. This is not an investor pitch. The goal is to have people understand what you do and some of the challenges you've had in building your businesses. We love companies that are 0 to 5 years old and open to community engagement. We love companies who are coming in maybe with a rebranding idea. They want to share that with us. Or maybe you're just coming up with a business and you want to you want to bring it to our community. We love all of those topics. So get a hold of one of us to do that. We have 2 Facebook pages. One is our Columbia 1MC Facebook page, and this is our little family home page. This is the one where we want to get most of our engagement. So if you're not on this one, please get on this one. It's kind of like our little family dinner table, if you will. Questions, comments, concerns, looking for a resource, sharing a resource. This is the place to do it. So I will, there we go, are we good? We good. Upcoming presenters. Next week, we have Ms. Coria Jones, who's going to be coming in and talking about how she built BodyWorks Technologies. January 28th, we've got a made-it session. So we have Elite Landscaping. They're going to come in and talk about their journey. You've probably seen a lot of their signs all over Columbia, the billboard signs. They are a very successful landscaping company here in the Midlands. I've got February 4th open and the 11th open, and I would love to fill it with your journey. So please hit us up for those dates. Take a moment to take a look at your phone, put it on silence, or just shut the damn thing off. No one's going to miss you for 60 minutes. And if they do, good. Let them know. If you're interested in networking, I'm just going to pitch this. We have a new networking opportunity. We're going to meet for the first time tomorrow. Tickets have sold out on Eventbrite. So if you try to get through Eventbrite, it's going to shut you down and tell you to go for next month. However, because you're here and you know me, I'm going to sneak you in the door. So third Thursdays of every month from 9 until 10 a.m., 620 Gervais Street, Suite B. Come on by. This is where you can network, meet other local business owners, and hang with us. And we're going to be doing this the third Thursday of every month going forward. All right, to the main event. I would love to present to you today Mr. Jay Jackson. Jay is an Air Force veteran turned business strategist who helps founders design businesses that no longer depend on their constant involvement. He specializes in identifying structural bottlenecks that quietly steal time, income, and growth. He has worked inside and alongside multiple organizations to design systems that operate at scale. And if you could please take a moment and help me welcome Mr. Jay Jackson.
Are you going to put me on time?
Yes. Kenny, is that your time? 6 minutes.
All right, 6 minutes.
Six
You're
minutes.
going to scream when I get
6 minutes, 6
I'm
minutes,
gonna
like
do
you
it.
fresh and long.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. My goal is to get done before you start screaming.
Okay, that's
All right. So,
Jay is when you use your little remote there, point it over here.
okay. Don't start yet, King. Don't start yet. I got to make sure my mic is up. You good? Yep. All right, so in 2014, when I got out of the military, I discovered that our education system does not prepare us for business ownership. And because I'm a veteran, that became my new mission. And it had to be something bigger than just my own personal success. And so now why I do what I do is so that I can demonstrate servant leadership so that we can transform lives through business. Right now, there's a silver tsunami happening right now.
I am so sorry.
So that don't count on my time. So there's a silver tsunami happening right now where over 12 million businesses are not going to have an owner within the next decade. And that's because a lot of baby boomers are ready to retire. And that means 40% of the businesses in your local community are going to collapse if someone doesn't take them over. It's the reason why I see this problem clearly. So again, I'm an Air Force veteran. I got 26 plus years of creating systems and building teams on a global scale. I've also went from working 18 hours to just 5 hours in my agency and creating a system that allows them to make sales without myself being involved in it. And so now that's what I help businesses do. So I build through alliances. Now that's just because I believe when leaders align themselves with people who have similar values, we focus on systems and outcomes. That's how we grow our businesses. So a couple of the businesses the first business I bought was Red Valley Chiropractic. It's a chiropractic clinic out in Moab, Utah. The second business is Baby Lou, which is a clothing brand for babies, toys, onesies, things of that nature. And then the other brands are my brands. So Divine Media Network, Disruptive Leadership Podcast, and then the Serve, Impact, and Prosper, which is our ministry where we go into 55 plus communities and provide bags and boxes of meals to the senior community because they are usually an underserved part of our population. So that's how we give back to the community. So the way that I build these businesses or turn businesses into machines is I called it the catalyst system. So the very first one is focusing on lead generation and sales. Second, client delivery and fulfillment. 3, your team and delegation. 4 is going to be your operations and automations. And then 5 is leadership and accountability. All right, this is the ministry that I was telling you guys about. Everything that we do is so that we can give back to the community. Profits are outstanding. We all want to have profits, but if we're not giving back to the community, I just believe that our businesses aren't going to succeed. So what this means for each of you, how many of you would want 40% of those businesses that are going to be closing here in the Columbia area? All right, so we're in the right room. We got a lot of smart, intelligent people. So we all know that every business hits a ceiling when it doesn't have structure, right? And so if we want to be a part of a great movement, I'm traveling across the nation to different 1 million cups to talk to people about this idea so that we can build the 1 million cup community better so a lot of entrepreneurs can participate in what's going on with this silver tsunami. All right, so you're curious to know a little bit how? I'd love to chat. Any questions? Time.
3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes left? Ooh! Hey! 3 minutes remain.
Good let's use 3 minutes to talk about your journey.
So I got out of the military not by choice. In 2014, there was a downsizing after the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, where about 250,000 of us had to find our next opportunity. And giving somebody control over my life again in terms of where I live, what I wear to work, who I can work with, all the restrictions that come with the military and a job just was not an option for me. Been to some crazy places on this planet. And so that's what kind of shaped my perspective on saying, hey, I want to know how to create my own mission, vision, and values. When I first started, all I had was the skills, the education, and the training that the military gave me. And so I started out doing some life coaching and executive coaching. I burned out in my life coaching business. That's what led to me creating the system. And I burned out because I just didn't know the stuff that I was just talking about, all the structure, the systems, the automations, and things like that. And so I failed a lot. I have made tons of mistakes. But everything that I built into the system, once I finally got it to work for me and started getting it to work for some other people, I was like, okay, it's time for us to think a little bit bigger, disrupt some shit, lead better, win bigger. And so that is our motto as we travel across the country to do what we can to help save some small businesses. Yes, sir.
So we hit time?
1 minute.
Oh, you still
I
got
still
1
got
minute.
another
And then
minute.
we'll go to questions, folks.
Okay.
Go ahead. More on the journey?
Well, you didn't even talk about the conflict of leaving the military and being military life compared to civilian.
Two different planets. All right, in a great way. Like there are some things about the military that I believe all of us can benefit from, and I'm talking every single human being on the planet. Who we become in life, of course, comes from our experiences, and so a lot of the experiences that I got in the military, I'm super grateful for them. I wouldn't be who I am today. I was a knucklehead before I joined the military, and I mean knucklehead. I would call myself in the streets doing what I wanted to do, and the military saved my life. If I didn't join, I would have never, I probably would have died or ended up in jail. But the transition out was hard because I went in at 19. They turned me into something totally different, not bad or whatever, just different. And so when I got ready to transition out, I didn't know anything about being a civilian. Like I had no clue. I would try to have conversations with civilians, and they would look at me like I had two heads and a tail coming out of my behind. Like, what are you talking about? But it's you maintain some of the stuff that the military gives you: teamwork, leadership, structure, all that kind of stuff. You maintain that, but then you just kind of adjust and learn that, man, at the end of the day, we all just people that love our families, love our communities, and want to do what we can to be the best we can. So.
Thank you, Jay.
Did I get it that time?
Could you give me like a brief overview of how you're making businesses more efficient, and are you using AI to automate a lot of the tasks? Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah. So we use a software called Go High Level.
Okay.
Go High Level allows us to basically do everything within the business. From creating landing pages, which is similar to websites for those that aren't familiar with what landing pages are. But it allows you to create what some people have probably heard what's known as like a sales funnel, where you generate leads through social media and online, and you basically sell products and services and things like that. I call it a sales machine, right? Mm-hmm. And so the automations are set up in it, text messages, voice drops, AI can do some responding in terms of answering customer service type questions and even booking appointments. So yeah,
right there.
Use it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Tom.
Give me an example of disruption. All
Uh,
right, so you said disruption. What does that mean?
I truly believe that disruption comes from a place of change, growth, evolution, making things better. A lot of times when we hear the word disruption, we think that it's going to destroy things, and it doesn't. But I do believe that we have to challenge the status quo. If we continue to allow things to just always be the way that they've always been, we will always get what we've always gotten. And so I truly believe that. I operate that way. Sometimes it makes people uncomfortable, but that's okay. I think we have to make ourselves uncomfortable all the time.
Do you disrupt and then find a solution, or you disrupt because you've got a different way to do it?
I do believe that my way is different, and it's more so different in philosophy. So a lot of times we see a business and we think, oh my God, the problem is obvious. And oftentimes the problem is not obvious. But what I like to do is I like to say, how would I come in and destroy this business? Like if I was just to come in here intentionally to destroy it and shut it down, what are those top 3 things that I would do to destroy it? Like really shut it down, make it go bankrupt. And then I'll do the complete opposite. Go in the opposite direction of that. And so that's the kind of the disruption in our thinking that we focus on.
Next.
Yes, sir.
What type of process analysis do you use? I know in the military, coming out of the military myself, we use the SWOT analysis quite a bit. What do you use?
That is exactly it, the SWOT analysis. So a lot of times when we focus on a SWOT analysis, I know at least in my experience, sometimes we look at the business itself, but what I like to do is I like to go in and look at the team, right? Because the executive team tells me everything that I need to know about the business. And so what are the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities for growth for the executive team, and then what are the threats to the team that keeps the organization from functioning the way that we need it to function. So I take that same mentality from the military and we take that into small businesses. It's a lot. I found that it's a lot more easier said than done, right? So I'm not trying to make it seem like this is just a walk in the park. But once you've done it a couple of times, you start to kind of create a rhythm. And so every part of our process is data collection. So we make all decisions based on data. I actually ran some ads coming into Columbia just so I can collect some data. And so in some of the data that I collected lets me know like what are people in the Columbia area interested in terms of events. I actually attracted a business owner, Sparkleberry Road, La Cachina's Mexican restaurant. And we went over and we met with him. He reached out to us from our ads and we went in and had a conversation with him to see what the challenges he's facing. And so we just let the data, like how many leads we've generated, the cost per lead, also client acquisition cost, lifetime value, meaning how much money over the lifetime of the customer can we expect to make it. And so we did that coming into here just so you kind of have a better understanding. Yes, ma'am.
So how does that work if you're a team of 1?
Yeah, so
Good question.
there are I found some innovative ways to do it. So right now for me, I'm at a place where I'm looking to move away from myself in this particular business, move myself out of certain roles. So right now, I'm responsible for sales and preaching the message, right? But I also know I need someone else who can come in and run the market. So what I do is, a lot of times I can reach out to my network, or we can go to different freelance type sites where you can go and find people in other countries. They won't cost you as much as someone here in the States. But at the same time, you get a good talent who can come in and assist you. Whether the first hire, I would say, is just a virtual assistant, right? Just to take all the little mundane administrative tasks off your plate. That in itself will give you so much time back and so much kind of mental space where you can focus on strategy, planning, partnerships, collaborations, that kind of stuff. So that's the first place I was.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna come here, then I'll come to you, King. Yes, sir.
Okay. Just to comment on that, I'm a team of like 8 or 9, but I hired a virtual assistant like 2 months ago, and it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Total game changer.
Yeah.
But this could be a question or not a question. Your Catalyst system, is that in order of how you do it? Because I kind of feel like operations and systems or automation should be higher up if that is the way that lead generation and client delivery. Because if you get the sales in and you don't have automations and systems, it could just implode.
Yeah, so that's back to what we were talking about, the SWOT analysis earlier. In that onboarding process, we basically ask like a series of questions to help us better understand where like the constraints are or even the gaps within the business and sometimes even the bottlenecks. That's why we start with the leadership team first, because that'll help us identify the bottlenecks super fast, like who's in the way, who should or shouldn't be sitting in certain seats. And so based on what those results are, that's when we determine, okay, which constraint we need to tackle first. A lot of times, we all know that more sales can solve a lot of problems, if not all the problems in your business, because you can either create a system. Once you've got more sales, you can create a system, or you can hire the talent that you need to be able to come in and run that system, so that you can go ahead and make more money. So it just depends on where that business is in their journey. Because they're like some of the big clients that I've worked with, they're generating revenue. Like businesses are generating revenue, but it may not be consistent. Maybe like feast or famine sometimes. But once you can create that first system of lead generation and sales, everything else on the back, you're going to create more problems for yourself, right? But you can't be afraid of those problems that you're going to create. So like with us saying that we're going to go to different 1 million cups across the country, this is our very first stop, right? So we're based out of Atlanta. That's where we attended our very first meeting at before, you can actually do the presentation. But this is our very first stop on our tour. And since we've been on this tour, I've identified some things that, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board because, that may not work. I created a new problem for us. It's a great thing, to have, right? But the one thing that we all do, we started our business because we're problem solvers. So your business really is just a series of what problems can I solve, and the bigger the problems you solve, the more money you make. I think, is it you, Ken?
Yes, thank you. I see SWOT as one of your major approaches to resolutions. So in the aspect of your business matching, with the baby boomers leaving the industry, how do you help someone see that this type of business would be a good fit beyond profit? Are you matching the potential owner, new owner, with the business culture, or how do you do that part?
Are you, let's just kind of make sure I understand it. Are you asking, there's a business that we're going to go in and acquire and then implement the system, or there's a business we would just go in to help from a consulting standpoint?
Okay, I think you would help me buy the business, or is it your company buying the business?
So the way the business model works for the Genii group is all of those who join or become a member of the Genii group, you basically become a limited partner, right? And so you're a part owner of the overall company. So our goal is in 5 years is to have what we call like a public exit. So we're basically going to build up a portfolio of businesses as we travel across the country. We're basically going to take it public. And so I'm building a team right now. Whether it's lawyers, people who are a whole lot smarter than I am when it comes to money and stuff like that. Because that's just me understanding as a business owner, like my own SWOT analysis, right? There are some things that I'm just weak at. And so the biggest thing or biggest lesson that I've learned is finding those people who are way smarter than you, putting them in position, and then getting the hell out of the way. And so anybody who joins will be a limited partner in that process. Okay. Yes, sir.
I'm going to push back for a second.
Okay.
I think part of the problem for a lot of businesses is too much revenue, too much sales.
Okay. How do you say that's a problem?
If you're not ready for it,
okay,
it's a definite either way. You're not staffed for it. Your quality, you can't maintain quality. You can't get enough inventory. There's a whole lot of things. Everybody thinks more sales will solve all my problems. But no, what it does is expose all the weaknesses.
For sure. No.
And, folks want to get more sales, but they don't want to improve their business.
Yeah, but for me, and let's push back. For me, that's exactly what I want to do. That's why I say the focus when the gentleman here asked earlier about like the approach. Notice I said I want to go in and figure out how can we destroy this business. Most people try to go in and say, oh my God, where can I make my business better? No, how can I destroy this business? And once I know how I can destroy it, I start to see all of those problems that I have. And then that's what I said, we then go in the opposite direction of the things that I would do. Remember, it's all about your behaviors. It's all about your actions. And a lot of times when we talk about data, make decisions on data, not on emotions. I have made that mistake. So if I talk to you about that transition from the military to civilian life, military, let's go! And we got to get there and we got to do it now because people are going to die. Mm-hmm. I had to shift from that mentality in order to become a better business owner. right? Because I can't speak to my team that way, and they're looking at me going, "Hey, bro, we're not in the military no more. I'm out of here." Right? So I had to make that adjustment and understand that I'm making decisions based on data and not emotions, right? And then, of course, you got to have some good folks, some good people around you, good spiritually grounded people, people who are, like I like to say, who are believers. And I'm not just talking about, oh yeah, I believe, but your behaviors don't line up with it. I'm talking about, you say you believe this, let's live that way. Let's act that way. Let's disrupt shit, lead better way.
And see, that's why I pushed it that, because everybody will hear the sales part.
Right.
But the crux of the matter is, if your business is not sound on everything else, themselves are
No.
So I guess I wanted to hear about people.
Yeah.
You know, because bad customer service kills every good.
For sure.
Good product.
I remember, when I told you guys that when I first started this, I was doing life coaching. And we were getting ready to I was living out in California at the time. That's where my wife is from. I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm a Navy brat. So I lived in 5 different states before graduating high school. All right, then I turned around and joined the military and lived in multiple states in different countries. But I was in Southern California, Fontana. We were doing an event in Orange County, which is down near San Diego, so between San Diego and LA. And I had just started learning how to run ads. But what Derek is talking about is I didn't have the automations set up properly. And so the leads were coming into the business, but because I didn't have automations in place, I wasn't able to communicate with those leads the moment they came into the business. So I'm running ads, the data says I'm getting leads, but I'm not getting sales. And that's because my marketing system, from the Facebook ad to whatever product that I was selling, which was the actual event, I had a whole bunch of gaps, right? Mm-hmm. Once I solved that problem and got the automations going, and we started to get sales whenever we would do some digital product sales and event sales, webinars and things like that online, then I realized that, okay, yeah, you're now getting those sales, but people didn't have everything that they needed to actually show up to the event, right? So what Derek is basically saying is there are phases that you're going to go through that whenever you solve one problem, you're going to create other problems. But you cannot allow the fear of creating a problem to terrify you from solving this problem, right? You are responsible for solving problems. That's why you started your business. And so if you aren't willing to face those problems and have some tough conversations, then like I said, you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. He just had his hand up in the back over here. Yes, sir.
I just know a little bit about real estate. I don't know about businesses per se. It's relatively easy to get real estate acquisitions and optimizations through real finance. How are you doing for businesses? What kind are you? Is it banks, private investors, or angel investors?
Yep. So the first business I ever bought, I used my own money and made a huge mistake by using my own money. And what I mean by my own money is like I went down to nothing. I got no more savings, no nothing. I wanted to buy a business, damn it, I'm gonna buy a business. But since then, we've been able to put some list of financial providers together, whether that's business or banks that are SB, DC, and SBA approved type banks. We do have a list of private investors as well. In the 1 Million Cups community down in Fayetteville, we have someone who teaches you how to do crowdfunding investing, so that normal everyday people can, invest in companies and then not have to be, my whole life savings or taking out a second mortgage on my house or my 401k being drained. So we just got a series of different ways. In some cases, we're close to signing an agreement with a market. I've been looking for a marketing agency for a couple of months now. We've been having conversations with several. We're close to signing an agreement with this agency, and we're not putting any cash in, right? So we're basically going to go in, take equity in this marketing agency in exchange for us implementing this system into their business. And so there's so many different ways to structure a deal. And a lot of times you don't. You don't need a whole lot of cash of your own to put down. You can do some they can do seller finance deals as well. So my first deal was a seller finance deal. And so, like I said, I just wanted to do it. I had no mentorship. I just believed that I could do it. I went out, did some research on my own, had some success with it. We actually bought the business. The biggest thing that looking back, the biggest lesson that I learned is in commercial real estate. Just making sure you understand that residential real estate totally different from commercial real estate in terms of who was responsible for build out and things of that nature. So I didn't understand that before that first deal. I also learned a lot about key man, meaning a business has like 1 or 2 key people who are responsible for that business being able to function. I never do that. Never do that. Never buy a business that only has like 1 or 2 key people to run the business. God forbid they get hit by a bus or their plane crashes. You have no one there to actually deliver on whatever it is that you're promising people you can deliver on. So that was another lesson that I learned in the process. But there's so many, if you want to get a deal done, if the people involved want to get a deal done, think about it. We're just humans. We all have our desires, what we want out of whatever deal we're trying to do. We all have our concerns, all our fears. Everybody does. To think that I don't have fears, I'd be lying to you. So if you can sit down human to human, and a lot of times I tell people, do this, like sit across the table from each other, like really shake hands, break bread, get to know each other, because those conversations will tell you a lot about what their interests are, and whether or not they really want to get a deal done. Because people behave and talk differently if you want to get something done versus if you just bullshit. Right?
More questions? We're down to like maybe our last 7 or 8 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you for your service. One of the things.
Still serving, just in a different uniform.
But what I want to kind of piggyback on, me and my husband, we've been entrepreneurs for several years, but we've noticed a shift and pivot in the younger generation. I don't know if it's Gen X, Gen Z, but they want to come in, open a business with no money in it. They want to kind of deal, and I'm really struggling with that because we've always put money in and build our business.
Right.
So I'm trying to understand that part of what's going on with the mindset of that. How you begin a business and you don't have no skin in the game.
Yeah. So how many of you growing up, your parents said, okay, you want that car? You got to work this summer, or you got to cut some grass. You got to do something, right? In order to get that car, we'll match it, whatever the deal was, right? You got to deal with your parents. I think for me, at least, I got 2 kids. So I've got a daughter that's about to turn 25 on Valentine's Day, and I got a son that'll be 23 in July. Just had my first grandbaby. She'll be born in March. So, but the thing that I have, and this. It's business, but I'll tell you, one of the things that I believe as a parent, right, and so I'm talking about who she's talking about, I can only tell you my own experiences. One of the things that I think I did as a parent is I made life too easy for my kids. Because we all want to make sure that our kids have a better life than we do, and I'm not saying we shouldn't let them have a better life than we do. But at least for me, I didn't meet my biological father until I was 42 years of age. And so because of that, I felt like I had to be everything that he wasn't for me. And in doing that, I took away a lot of lessons and responsibilities and things that they could have learned because I probably overparented. And now they get to be young adults and they think they know what the hell they're doing and what they're talking about. But that's on me, right? And so I got to learn, like today, be a better parent and guide. So that's what I think it is. I think entitlement is a lot of it. And I think that's our fault. And I'm saying us as parents, right? It's because we're responsible for who they are and who they became. That's on us. So that's our fault. One right here behind you.
So, I just want to know who's your ideal client.
Yep.
2, how do you find that client, or how do that client find you?
Okay.
And then maybe I don't know at the end if you have maybe like a social media where we can follow you just to kind of see the journey of your business and how it grows. So
For sure.
That's a whole lot of questions at once.
So, are we talking about buying businesses? Like what kind of businesses are we looking
as
for?
far as the business that you help grow and develop, as far as sales?
Gotcha. So a lot of the businesses that I work with are solopreneurs. They may have, one or two team members. They are generating some revenue. It might be through some old school kind of tactics, right? Going to different events and things like that. And so what we look to do is leverage the technology. Some of the folks that I work with, they're not super techie. I wasn't once super techie. Nobody was born super techie, okay? We all have to learn it. And so a lot of times, they want to be in the social media space, doing business online, having automations and things of that nature. But like me, when I got out of the military, you just don't know what you don't know, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but you're passionate about what it is that you do. You're serious about it. I don't like lazy ass people. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So if you are lazy and you don't do work, I just can't work with you. That's my own personal thing, because I take the work that we do very serious. Because people's lives, I do. I take the part about taking care of transforming people's lives. I take that serious. When I got out of the military, I didn't know who the hell I was, right? My whole entire identity as a human being was wrapped up in being a military member, all right? That's all I knew. That's all I understood. And so when that was removed from me, I was left with, who the hell am I, right? And so changing my life, changing who I am, becoming who I am today, I take that very serious. And so when I work with people, I need people who are serious, because business is serious. We got kids, grandkids, we got future generations that we got to try to take care of. But we also got to make sure that our local communities are good as well. So I take it serious.
We got time for 2 more questions. We'll take you. Yeah.
Me.
One, two, three.
I'm
doing something similar to you are now, but I'm at the very beginning. So if you could go back in time to when you first started, how did you position yourself as a business, and how did you find your first few clients?
So when I first started, like I said, I was doing life coaching. I was living down in Warner Robins, Georgia, which is just Macon area, so south of Atlanta, about an hour and a half south of Atlanta, depending on which part of the city. And I was doing a lot of the stuff that I was telling you people want to get away from, which is traveling and going to different events, exchanging business cards, trying to figure out a way, like, how do I stay in contact with these people, because it's just a lot. It's a lot to try to keep up with. And so that's the part that burned me out. And so what I started doing in 2017, I started to invest in some higher level, like coaching and consulting and things like that. And that's when I started to learn different skills, and just working on those skills is what allowed me to be able to say, okay, I want to start doing some stuff through social media, running some ads, just testing it, right? So you got to get in the trenches and test it by yourself sometimes, with some friends, as things start to move along. Like I was telling Kenny on yesterday, it's a snowball. Like I think a lot of times, at least for me, it started off small, right? You're just one person out here like, damn it, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do this. Okay? But then as you start to just stick with it, you build up some momentum, and it becomes a snowball. It becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. But just practice. You got to practice and get around some folks that will challenge you. At least for me, that's what's been the best thing for me, is just being in rooms with people where I can get asked questions and get my ideas and my beliefs challenged, right? Iron really does sharpen iron. And so when you get around some folks who are going to make you think different, who are going to push back. Notice he was like, I'm going to push back a little bit. I said, let's go. Let's push, right? Because I understand that it's going to help him become better, it's going to help me become better, and it's going to help everybody in the room become better. So just get in some rooms with some folks that will keep challenging you. And y'all fight, man. And I don't mean like violence, fight, but fight, right? It's okay to challenge each other and push back on some stuff, because I think that's where the growth really happens. At least for me, that's where the growth really happens. Yes, sir.
You mentioned something earlier about a model you have. Was it Genii or Genii?
So the Genii group, that's the company.
Okay, that's your affiliate with.
No, that's the name of the company that I own.
How you spell it?
THE, so the Genii, GENII group. Genii group. Okay. So it's Latin for genius. So the genius group.
Is there a vetting process you use for dealing with certain businesses, or whether you're gonna pick them up or?
Yeah. So it's called like the due diligence process. So that's the process that you basically go in and evaluate the business. So we basically have like a checklist where we'll go in and take a look at the business. We sit down with the business owner, we sit down with the employees, we take a look at everything behind the scenes, especially the numbers, right? So if the numbers don't make sense, we're not gonna do the deal, right? We'll just walk away from whatever deal. But you gotta get behind the scenes and dig through the trash and then figure it all out. I always, so one of my mentors, he always told me, always look for a reason to not do the deal. Always look for a reason not to do it. If you look for a reason not to do it, you're gonna find it. And that's what you wanna do. You wanna find out, why the hell should I not do this, right? Because if you can figure out what that is, and then you go, can I live with whatever comes with the reason why I should not do this? Can I live with the outcome of that? If it's someone like a member of the team, if it's because sometimes a friend of mine, he bought a plumbing company down in Florida, and we assume it was because of his skin color. We assume. We have no proof. There were 2 people within the company that just refused to work for him. And we couldn't figure out why. We asked questions, we tried, the whole team, we asked all kind of questions, like, why do you think they left? Did they say anything to you? We even had one of them come in on an exit interview so that we can figure out, like, what was it? And he just kept saying, I just refuse to do it. I'm ready to go. I'm only going to work for this man. I won't work for another man. We're just like, dude, but you're a key person, in the business. And so when you're doing your due diligence and you start to hear those kind of rumblings, that was one of the deals he walked away from, because he was like, hey, can I live with this guy leaving? And if this guy actually, they basically did commercial plumbing for skyrise buildings. And I guess the engineering of plumbing and all that, like I said, you don't have to be the expert at the thing of the business that you're looking at. You don't have to be the expert. But what you do have to do is you have to know people who are the expert in that particular area, and you just hire them. But we didn't have that relationship. Like, we didn't know anybody who could come in and do that without having to, especially in that area, without having to hire somebody someplace else, move them and their family in. There was just too much stuff to go with it. So you're like, nope, I want out of the deal. So you go through the due diligence process. You do dinner, right? You sit down, you do dinner with them and their wife, do dinner with them and their kids, right? Because when you can see how a man or a woman behaves when their wife and kids are around, that'll tell you everything about their values around family, right? And so for me, family is one of the top values, a reason why I do the things that I do, right? And so if you're not, like I tell, if you'll cheat on your wife, I won't do business with you.
There you go, brother. That's right.
Yeah,
that's me.
You have a quick one?
Yeah, just to add something. Kaufman Foundation out of Kansas City,
yes, sir,
had an article a couple of weeks ago to help to put a dollar amount on what you said about that 40% of the businesses that are owned. That's $1.2 trillion worth of business assets.
Yep.
That something's going to happen to in the next 7 years, because the rest of us boomers turn 70 in 2033.
Just show of hands again, man. How many of y'all want a piece of 1.2 trillion? Like that's literally, that's like, there's more, and it's right here in Columbia.
But they also said 40% of that 40% will not execute, because they'll just go out of business.
Yeah,
so they'll just die out.
Some folks, like, we got to think of, like, motivated sellers are who we want to focus on. People who are motivated to sell. You're not interested in selling, you're wasting my damn time. Okay? So motivated sellers is who we want. Those who will die, of that 40% who will die, they're just not motivated. It's like mourning a kid dying. They've been like raising this baby for 25, 30 years, and they're just like, you know what? My kid's about to die and I don't know what to do. So they won't do anything.
All right, Dad?
So I have a question to kind of piggyback on your vetting question.
It's more of a philosophy.
Okay.
Are you, when you're looking at these things, are you mitigating weakness or are you hiring for strengths? Are you looking for someone that's just less weak in an area to fill a spot, or are you looking for someone that is going to be strong in a spot and build out around the other weaknesses that you have identified?
Yeah.
Which philosophy is more with Genii group?
I operate with the philosophy of a general manager of a NFL or NBA or Major League Baseball sports team. And that is getting the best talent that I can put into a culture where we can grow. So for me, talent oftentimes gets a bad rap, right? And I think a lot of times talent gets a bad rap because people can see talent in other people, but for some reason we become intimidated by them. We become thinking they're going to take our spot sometimes. But for me, I basically try to have a different perspective and say, how can this person, even though this one right here, his name is Jeff, by the way, so I apologize for just not giving everybody his name. But Jeff is way better at white balance, angles, all the things that I tried to do, right? I tried to do those things, but I wasn't good at them. You taught me some stuff earlier today when it comes to cables and things like that. I want people who are better than me in their particular specialty, right? Because then I can come down court. So I used to play basketball. So yesterday we were talking about football, and I'll wrap up with this, I guess. Yesterday, Kenny and Derek were talking about football. And Derek talked about how there was this dude who was he was huge, right? So 6'3", 220 something. He was a wide receiver, right? And so the other guy he was coming across the middle on a route, the other guy who came over and hit him was way smaller. He was probably about my size based on the description that Derek gave me. But I guess this small guy hit this big guy and knocked his helmet off, and there was blood and snot and all kinds of stuff coming out of his face. And I immediately told them right there on the spot, that's why I quit playing football. I'm not a fan of being hit, all right? So I chose basketball. And when I played basketball, I was a point guard. And so I still have that same mentality when it comes to going into businesses, hiring people for my own companies. I look at it as if I'm a point guard. My job is just to come down the court, make sure everybody is where they need to be, give them the tools and the resources that they need to be successful so that they can go shoot. I don't have to score, because I'm going to score and I'm going to win as long as the team wins and everybody else is good. But I know the only way I can do that, you got to be talented as hell. I don't do lazy people. If you're not going to get up and do, I just said it to you earlier, if you're not going to get up and do the work, so Kobe and Shaq beefed back in the day. Now, a lot of people know they beef, but they think oftentimes it's man stuff sometimes. But I went back and listened to Kobe talk about it, and Shaq has since admitted it. Kobe had the mentality, people probably heard the Mamba mentality, and that is, bro, if I have to fight and argue with you to get you in the gym, we're going to have a problem, because I want to win. Shaq was the most dominant player on the planet. Nobody could stop him. His mentality was, I don't have to go into the gym, because when I get on the court, nobody can stop me. The mentality. That for me, I look at mentality, I look at values, I look at beliefs. Those are a lot of the things that I look at to answer his question about talent-wise and who I look for. It's all psychology for me, right? So if you good values, good beliefs, good work ethic, all the stuff that you've heard me talk about, those are the people that I love working with, and that's how I approach, hiring talent to go into the company.
Thank you, Deborah. Final question.
What can 1 million cups do for you?
Let's go buy businesses. like seriously. I mean, God's honest truth. That's my focus as we're doing this, as we're going across the country. Like I told you, it's just building a team. I need lawyers. I need people who know money very, very well. And I'm just saying that because, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. My ability to stand up here and articulate and say these words with a little crisp on them, that comes from me reading books, studying, working on my vocabulary, becoming a better speaker. So I used to be a little fool. I've got tattoos and all that all over me. So I don't come from a lot of the knowledge and the wisdom and things like that are out there. And so smart people I'm looking for smart people.
Are you
who want
still
to buy
looking
businesses.
for? I'm sorry to interrupt.
You're good.
But we're gonna cut it short.
Yes, sir.
Are you still looking for people for your podcast?
I am.
Don't forget that.
Now, so real quick for context, we had a tech issue yesterday. So interviewing someone for the podcast, I would have to do it when I come back next time because I haven't had a chance to figure out. That's what Thad and I were talking about earlier. We had I don't know why. It worked perfectly fine at home. I thought it was going to be. That's why I say you just got to do it. Like, this is the first. This location is the first time we've done on the road podcasting, right? So we're learning a lot as we're doing it, and we're gonna get better at it. So yeah.
Okay, time with him is not finished. Although we're concluding right now, you still have a little bit of time to spare, Jay,
Yes,
to hang
ma'am.
out with the crowd. So if you have any other questions or comments, so please approach Jay. He's going to hang out with us for a little longer. We have the room for another. So you can stay, you can go, but we would love to see you next week.
Stay
So
for a
please
while.
come back
Stay-
next
stay
week.
for a while.
Shout out to Fontana. I grew up in the IE and I
Really?
moved to the OC. So
Okay,
yeah.
So you know all about it.
We still have a lot of coffee. Please drink it up.
Yes, please get coffee.
That's my wife. She lays there down there. Or this is my breakfast legs and just watch
So basically, people are shifting
That's the way I wrote it. I'm going to relay
This is a higher price range than some of the stuff. I'll stop by. There's a price. This week, next week, we've got a bone marrow biopsy. Well, it's the last this what you want to do right now is to minimize you're wanting to minimize the risk of all that under control to minimize what the white cells have. What specific specialty? And that white cell depending on what it shows that it manipulates the way on charge. When we learn that, we have to go down to Charles and we have to be in Charles for 30 days. I'll be around. And she's not cancer. She's not in prison. She can go out. White cells are fighting fever's not there. Whatever it is, they say there's a marker there. It's called 100. Spend some time in the
I'm waiting my turn.
If you go to the website, you can see this. It's called Tree. It's called It's got all the inflammatory diseases, even cancer.